Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I am the food enthusiast here at Jaymore Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. Those of you joining us live, drop your comments and questions for my guest or myself in the comment box, and you'll see me turn my head from time to time to check. This week's guest is Phillip Ashley Rix, an internationally acclaimed, renowned, innovative luxury chocolatier, a real-life Willy Wonka. He has created premium gifts for Hollywood's elite at the Emmys, Grammys, and Oscars, and was named one of America's finest confectioners by Forbes magazine, and he has been nominated twice for a James Beard Award. He now shares a number of his secrets about chocolate in his recipe book, For the Love of Chocolate. Listen to these confections: Bollywood cashew coconut curry truffles, turtle cheesecake baked French toast. Yum. Let's bring Phillip in. Hi, Phillip.
Hey Dara, how are you?
I am doing great. I sort of know the answer to this question, but I always ask it sort of at the beginning. What's on your plate today to do other than doing the show?
Some travel, but actually, when I get back to Memphis, I have to make some chocolates for the distillery later today. So, got quite a few things on the plate, and then a couple calls, just the normal stuff, and then try to go pick up my dog Apollo. He's probably
I
like
heard.
wondering where are you? So.
I heard Apollo had a recent operation.
Yes, he did. He did. So he's good to go now. But yes, he's good now. But yes, he's a soldier. So
That's great.
mhm,
Um, you were literally on the road, everybody. He took off his seatbelt, but he's in a
mhm.
car at the gas
Stationary.
station, I think, at the
Mhm.
moment.
Yes.
So we're going to go forward. I always talk about the family table. That's sort of one of the things, one of my gigs that I believe is an important thing in every household. And from everything that you've written in your book, For the Love of Chocolate, you really tell a bit about yourself and how you come from a family of great cooks. But it was your grandmother, Erlene, or you called her Jean, that was
Mhm.
your inspiration. Tell us more about growing up and being by the side of Jean.
Yeah, that is where, most of my earliest food memories, especially. I even remember, so much of, because she grew a lot of her own food, a lot of the people she knew grew their food. And so I did things like eat turnips raw right out of the ground. Like, she'd peel it in, like, so thankfully that may be why, pretty healthy these days because I ate a lot of raw vegetables growing up, celery, stuff like my cousins were like, "Oh, you eat that?" And so just learned a lot about food, how to grow it, how to care for it, the importance of preparing it for people. We couldn't eat breakfast before we made our bed, brushed our teeth, and washed our face. Even just that kind of thing. So. Um, she was always up really early, like 4 o'clock. I didn't get it then. Now I'm up myself early, but she was always up like 4 o'clock in the morning. So just really got, whether it was shucking peas, cleaning greens, learning how to butcher, all of those things, baking, of course. She did all of those things. And so just kind of got a kind of an up close and personal education into to those very things.
Well, the baking, anything in particular that she baked that you remember
Well, yeah, she
specifically?
specifically she was, pecan pie. Well, so they grew sweet potatoes, and there were probably 10, close to a dozen pecan trees on their land. And so one of the things my brother and I and some of our cousins were tasked with doing were picking up the pecans in the yard and stuff. So pecan pies and sweet potato pies were two of her primary things, but carrot cake, which is something my mom ended up making a lot as well. Pound cake is another. During the holidays, specifically, chess pie and chess squares. You don't really see those that much anymore. But chess pie was something she typically made around Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
So,
So this was not your career. You were in marketing and sales. You lived for a short period of time in Baltimore, went back to Memphis, that's home. And where did chocolate come in your life? Where I know you loved Willy Wonka. And in
hmm
fact, my question to you, who did it better? Was it Gene Wilder
hmm
or
or
was it
well,
Timothy Chalamet
uh-huh.
or was it Johnny Depp?
Yes. So I'll say this, Gene Wilder is my favorite in the sense that was my original exposure, definitely cinematically. And it was just such, I think, from the whimsical and even some of the, kind of the, you know, satire and all of that was definitely there. Johnny Depp was a bit darker. That's Tim Burton for you, though. I appreciate that. I really enjoyed the Timothy Chalamet mainly because, well, one, he did a fantastic job, but also it was really the first time you got to see, kind of the becoming. How did he become? How did he find and meet the Oompa Loompas and all of that sort of stuff? So, it was really cool to see that part. But, I would still say Gene Wilder just because, but, you couldn't have picked three more fantastic actors to portray. So it's not like any of them slighted they were all great in their own ways. But I would still just go because, again, that was my first impression
The first,
of
right?
Willy Wonka from a visual standpoint.
All right, so chocolate chip
hmm
cookies. Um,
hmm
and what was that moment where it turned around? You said, this is not what I want to do.
hmm
I think I want to do chocolate. I want to
hmm
make chocolates, quality
Yeah.
chocolates.
Yeah.
What was that aha moment? Was it just one day you woke up? Was it a dream?
hmm Yeah, the dream was there, but I think where it really kind of came, and that's my, me talking about waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, aha, gonna make chocolate for the rest of my life. That's kind of the encapsulation of, just a lifetime at that point, of experiences of food and even in business and all of those other things, saying, okay, you know, I want to do something in food. I want to kind of evolve into a more serious chef, a real, in terms of professionally. Um, but I don't want to do the restaurant thing. And then I've been in the CPG business, consumer packaged goods, logistics, marketing, sales, and all that. So I think just kind of an accumulation of all of that kind of experience and that exposure. So I started doing these things um, kind of all together and then making it happen. So yeah, so
Your
that was how it all came together, just wanting to do um as much as possible. But chocolate was really okay, I can marry food, I can marry CPG, and I want to be able to put a product into a box and send it everywhere.
your chocolates are gorgeous. They are works of art. And I'll hold up the book for the love of chocolate. Here we go.
Yeah,
A
that's it.
beautiful
That's it.
photography.
Right.
Of course.
Thank you.
Just anything. The photography is beautiful. I can just go anywhere and pick up a picture. And we also like to know when we're looking at a recipe, why did you want to do this book?
Well, um, ultimately, I felt like it was time, and I started writing this during the pandemic. Literally, um, I think I began writing the book proposal like in May of 2020. So we're in the thick of it at that
Right.
time, if you recollect. So I just wanted to do and I'd been approached years before saying, "Hey, maybe you should do a cookbook." And I was like, "Well, I really don't have a cookbook in me per se. It's not something that, you know, I don't want to just put a collection of recipes together and throw it in a book and be like, here you go." I didn't have anything to say, I guess, if you will, at that time. And this is like 2015, 2016. So now I'm like, when this book came along and the opportunity to write it and the idea to write it, I think it was just a lot of right time, right place, oh, right people. So the book consultant I hired to help me write the book proposal, even just learning the fact that, oh, you need to write a book proposal so my agent was like, yeah, you need a book. And even that, oh, it's probably best to get a literary agent because self-publishing is one thing, but if you really want to do something serious, and this is just my opinion, serious, um, and particularly take it to the next level, these are the steps, the book proposal, get someone that can really guide you through that, you know, your agent, someone that can
Right.
guide you and represent you through the process of getting published, finding the right, and then the art of kind of finding the right publisher, one that obviously is attracted to you and your story and what you want to do, but then has the enthusiasm and resources to be able to um, bring it all into fruition. And so it was definitely a learning process. It took 5 years to write the book. So yeah.
Yeah, I know Bruce Weinstein and Mark Scarborough, they've done like 36 cookbooks, and they did one episode on their podcast just saying, so you want to write a cookbook? And they talked about, from the idea and finding all the different steps to get it done.
hmm
It can be
hmm
4 years before it's in somebody's hand.
hmm Yeah,
That's
it
right.
was that was I think that was the biggest eye-opening thing, and then to say, because once got the book, deal situated and everything, that was then it took roughly 2+ years to do the writing, then a number of months for editing back and forth. Then there's a whole thing of the photography, then, editing again. And, how we structure the book, where the chapters are placed and organized. I mean, it was just a lot. So, I mean, in a good way, again, was totally unaware of the full extent that it takes. And I feel like in a lot of ways, cookbooks are even more difficult than other literary because when you're writing a novel, obviously it's got to go through the editing and all of that sort of stuff, but you're not arranging photography, you're not making sure the recipes work so that if they're 5 or 50, or whatever, can execute at a
And they
to a
have to fit
degree,
on the page.
and then they have to fit on the
The
page.
page. You come back and going, well, you got two lines. It's just are not fitting. So what do you
Right.
do? You were very, I would say, lucky. The foreword of your book was done by Jacques Torres, who's known as Mr. Chocolate himself. And if people don't recognize his name, he was a pastry chef at the Cirque. He did two PBS series called Dessert Circus. He used Jack Torres's chocolates, and he was one of the first around 2000 to open up a European chocolate shop.
hmm
And he was also, I don't know if he still is, he probably is, one of the four major instructors at the French Culinary Institute. And he wrote a lovely, lovely foreword for you. And, I'm just amazed from 2007 and starting and not dealing with creating bonbons and all the different tools that you need, um, how this book helps someone who it offers a couple different things. One, those
hmm
who are looking to start making confections on their own.
hmm
You gave them the tools to do it. It wasn't a whole bunch of science that you have to go through. You broke it down for them. So there are all those confections. And then you have recipes, whether it be breads, brownies, and bars, or chocolate cookie, even cocktails with chocolate. what were you looking to accomplish in writing the book? I probably should have phrased that earlier, not why, but what were you looking to accomplish? What did you want the book to do?
Yeah, oh, that's a great question. And even with Jock Torres, the fact that, he was able to, that he was willing and he wrote the forward is incredible. Because, and again, that's another kind of example of right time, right place, right opportunity and people, because he was literally the first person that I discovered when I said, okay, let me research chocolate, in terms of who's doing what, where are they doing it, and how are they doing it. His name popped up first. And so learning about Jacques Torres and his, um, what he does and how he does it. And then, 10 plus years later, he, a little longer, um, ended up buying a number of the chocolates and then posting about them. And then, a good 5 years later from there, ended up writing the forward, agreeing to write the forward because, we'd stayed in touch and all of that since then. So, I think so. Again, the purpose of writing the book was one, to be able to do what folks like he and the books that I learned from then did for me, was say, okay, well, let me leave something behind that is different, because the cookbooks that are based on chocolate previously were a lot more scientific, a lot more, extremely technical, and, designed for a specific audience. And so I wanted to focus on the people who are typically intimidated, who wouldn't necessarily, you know, kind of broach the opportunity to make chocolates. And so it was important for me to do something that was fun, that was beautiful, that had some amazing recipes, which is kind of all what we do with chocolate. We want it to be fun, but it is a serious craft at the same time. But even with the people who, help make chocolate in my own kitchen, at the chocolate shop, I've created methods that allow people that don't have, culinary backgrounds per se. Something, usually, uh, the ones that didn't come in often do, but they're also the ones that we've trained that have, they came from various backgrounds, and I wanted to be able to train them. And so over the years, just develop techniques that allow them to kind hit the ground running in a shorter period of time. And so that was, again, the same thing I wanted to communicate with the book, and saying, listen, yeah, this is a very serious thing and you can really do some magical stuff. But, I wanted to, no, it's not everyone's going to go off and do it professionally, but hey, you can always bring something, that's amazing to dinner.
Right. Well, I'm going to show the book again.
Hmm.
Um,
Love
Here we
it.
go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
What a great gift for the holidays for many
Yes.
reasons. Um, just to maybe do that turtle cheesecake, baked French toast for Christmas breakfast, or as a gift for somebody who likes cooking or is into
Hmm.
chocolate, getting recipes for the cookie exchanges and, you know, learning about chocolate, how to give a chocolate party, how to
Yeah.
make chocolate
Cocktail
cocktails.
parties. Yep.
Yes,
Cocktail party.
absolutely.
Hmm.
It's we always look at the holidays and you're going, what can I get that person? I want to talk
Right.
about the golden ticket you got. If we're talking Willy
Okay.
Wonka, golden ticket
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
at one of the events that you did, whether it was the Emmys or the Grammys or the Oscars.
Hmm.
Your beautiful chocolates were in there.
Right.
And it seems Oprah Winfrey got one of those chocolates.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that was your golden ticket
It
because
was.
she, yes, not that you weren't doing well beforehand. You had a
No,
lot
no,
of,
that was definitely, that was
there was
it.
a lot of collaborations you were involved with companies, but this, I don't think you were prepared when she was it 2023, 2022, somewhere around there that she picked it as one of her your chocolates is one of her favorite things.
Yeah,
That
so this was also 2020. So it was at the end of 2020 when that happened. So with again, again, opportunities come, you have to be able to jump on it, fully prepared or not. Didn't realize how, because part of it was, we did, first of all, it was a fantastic opportunity. It definitely helped elevate our platform. And, always grateful and forever grateful for that and to her for that. So, um, it was definitely a challenge, especially the deeper we got into 21 and 22, because the residuals of all of that, traffic and stuff were still moving. It was an interesting time for supply chains and logistics, shipping. And so, and staffing. When we were in the heat of a lot of that, I think I lost temp for about 6 to 8 weeks, almost half of my staff to COVID. So, half of my staff, got COVID, including my parents, who were two of them, and we were down like right in the middle of the Christmas rush. And so till just right, and they didn't come back till right before Valentine's. So
it
yeah,
came
so
back
that was.
before Valentine's. Yeah.
Yes. So,
That's
anyway, it just I think that was an awesome opportunity. Being able to do the Oscars, the Grammys, Emmys, that kind of thing is definitely, something that, was an amazing experience, an immense opportunity as well. So,
I think Jack Torres and many other people have touted your chocolates about honoring your Southern roots. And I think your
Mhm,
first chocolate was a homage to your grandmother
mhm.
and her sweet potato. Tell everybody about that first sort of bonbon chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, once I got to the point where I said, okay, I know what I want to do from a chocolate storytelling aspect, if you will, the chocolates that I want to make. It was all about like, well, like I think any artist or any person that's doing something creative is trying to just share who they are and what their experiences are through their craft. And so making a chocolate that was honoring my grandmother, and like I said, the sweet potatoes and the sweet potato pies and stuff like that that she made just made sense. Just like we have a Memphis barbecue chocolate. I'm from Memphis. Barbecue is king, and we have an Elvis inspired chocolate for that matter, and on and on. And then the types of food I've eaten, the places I've been, the people that I've met, the experiences I've had are all kind of embodied in the different types of chocolates that I make. And so, you know, um, obviously at the core, Southern, Memphis, and surrounding, but then there's a bunch of international inspiration, from the Mediterranean to South Asia to Africa to South Central America, the Caribbean, and so on and on. And so it's just really about, okay, how do I show an appreciation for food as a cultural phenomenon and thing that really kind of connects us
Mm.
all, and because we all have to eat. And so I think I look at food as kind of a universal language, even more so than math. So,
Well, food, yeah, it crosses many borders, doesn't it?
it does. Yeah.
Um, Interestingly enough, you have a lot of collaborations, and the one that seems to be very significant for you is with Cadillac.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you just went to, they were introducing a new car, or
Yeah.
what was the car? And Jay Leno was there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was just in Newport, Rhode Island at the Newport at Audrain, Newport Concourse and Motor Week. So just a really uh, awesome. Well, first of all, Newport is amazing. It's beautiful. Great time of year to be there. And so Cadillac, who I've been working with since 21, was like, hey, yeah, we want you to come up. We want the chocolates there. And so the chocolates that we presented there were actually they were for Celestic, which is one of the collections that we created and we've designed based on their luxury vehicles. They also were showcasing elevated velocity, a concept car that was insane. It's amazing. But we were sharing chocolates at the VIP opening event, and probably went through quite a few chocolates. They were all gone, so we did things like our one of the blue cheese chocolates that we designed for Celestic. There were six other flavors, 100-year-old balsamic vinegar, things like that. And so just got to be around a lot of people. Jay Leno, got to talk to him, see him. He was actually discussing the new Corvette CR1X, which is an insanely horsepower, 1,250 horsepower, basically super sport car, definitely. So, you know, um, it was just a great weekend, and they've been really supportive. Folks like Juanita, Slappy, and um, the whole crew, has just really been, Tony Roma, who was Corvette now, but he was with Cadillac specifically when we first met. That whole gang got to hang out with Nate Burleson um, during that time, and so yeah, it was just a fun time. And then I love cars, love great food, and so got to do both.
Yeah. I do have a question for you. It says,
All right.
sounds like most of your production is high end. Do you make anything for us normal folk?
Yes, so our turtles are probably they'll be back on the website. Our turtles are probably our most popular item. So if you like pecan, salted caramel, milk chocolate, I mean, can't doesn't get any better than that. And they're big, so if you want to share, you don't have to. You can with people. So our turtles are, and that was the product that was on Oprah's favorite things. Turtles. And so here in the next week, you'll see that back on the site. We do an advent calendar. That's a very um, popular collection. And so those boxes arrive here in the next week, and looks like Santa Claus on the outside, and has a bunch of really cool flavors around holiday and just fun stuff. We even do something called Taste of America that's usually around, and it's 250th coming up. We'll have that out all next year. So yeah, we do a number of things, but we're going to be putting more uh, approachable confections available, so that somebody that kind of our gateway chocolates, if you will.
Right. And just to tell everybody everything that you want to sort of know and connect about Phillip Ashley Chocolates is that simple. It's philipashleychocolates.com. And
Yes.
links are coming up here where you can connect with him, but it's, all his social medias are there. He has his own personal page, Phillip Ashley, and then Phillip Ashley Chocolates.
Chocolates. Yeah.
My tongue was getting stuck on confections for some reason.
No problem.
Uh, in your book, there was a quote that I just liked, and it has nothing to do with anything, but I just thought it's perfect for this time of year.
Mhm.
I liked your quote. It was, kindness is free.
Yeah. Yeah. For
That's all,
sure.
folks. It's my mood. Please, take that, be pleasant, extra pleasant to people. We all need it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
Um, we're at a wrap,
Okay.
and I have 5 questions that I sort of ask at the end. So we'll go through
Sure.
those and we'll let you get on the road.
All
And
right. I'm ready.
everybody, for the love of chocolate, go look for it.
Go
What
get
was
it.
your what was your ultimate culinary fail?
Ultimate color. Well, I've failed a lot until I mastered things. That's for sure. I always talk about the bee pollen and beer hops chocolate that was like a total catastrophe in terms of taste. That's the one thing that I recall that definitely didn't work out, because again, that was in my kind of experimentations and trying to create things and push the envelope. That was one for sure.
Okay, if you could wake up tomorrow morning with a new talent, what would it be?
Playing the guitar, an ES 335 or an ES 350 specifically.
Well, you're down in Memphis. You need to know how to play a guitar, don't you?
Seriously, right, right. Yes.
If you could go back to your 18-year-old self and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you tell that 18-year-old?
Uh, don't stress out. I mean, the bumps in the road are a part of life, but and then I'd probably say, hey, avoid this thing or this person. I'd probably kind of, steer in a few different directions. But at the end of the day, I think it's all going to work out, I'd say. Mhm.
Okay. What's the best bite
Mhm.
you've had all week?
I had this incredible and insane crab stuffed oyster from this restaurant called Chia. It's in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and it was ridiculously good. Probably one of the best bites I've had in a long time, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
And that's
great.
saying a lot.
Well, you have
So,
to come back to Baltimore. I
yes,
know
I
you had a
do.
short term here.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
actually be in that area. I'll be in Alexandria here soon, so I'll definitely make my way up the road. But
well,
um,
you know,
make it fun.
um, there's a pastry chef, author, instructor called Nick Maggieri. I don't
Okay.
know.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
We were connected, and I had interviewed somebody, and who's on my mind. And I sent him an email. I said, "How you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm totally retired." He says, "How are the crab
Hmm.
cakes?" And I said, "Well, I need to take you to Coco's." So he's literally
Hmm.
coming in next week, taking the train in, so I can take him to
Okay.
Coco's for the
Okay.
crab
So
cake.
Coco, look.
And then I guess he's going to get back on the train and go home.
Hey, sometimes you just have to go travel for food. Why not?
But
You do it
that's
for everything else.
that's what I do wherever I go. Where's the food?
See?
Where's the
Right,
food?
right.
Two must in your refrigerator. Two things that have to be in your refrigerator.
Two things that have to be in our refrigerator. Farm eggs. So I eat a lot of eggs. Uh, and there's a couple of things, but it's good cheese, Parmesan Reggiano or Gruyere, something like that. Do the
Okay.
Mhm.
And the last question of all, you've been so patient. What didn't I ask you that I probably should have?
Uh, I guess we're all to get the book, which I guess those are links on your page. But you were pretty thorough. I think something I get asked a lot is what's my favorite chocolate that I've ever made, and
I know the
my,
answer to that.
yeah, so
You haven't
it
made
is.
it yet.
I haven't made it yet. So and I got that from hanging out with Stevie Wonder. So he was asked what was his favorite album he wrote, and he said, I haven't written it yet. So and I was like, I'm using that.
All right.
But
And
yeah, it is really why I keep creating chocolates and even writing recipes now. And so, just want to stay inspired and really do things that people can enjoy. Honestly, again, get kind of back to that kindness is free. So
now you need to make an Old Bay chocolate.
which we have for Maryland in the Taste of America box. That is
Oh,
an old, but yes, so I'll have to send you a box when we start back making it.
I would love that. I would love
Yes.
that. My
Hmm.
waistline, maybe not, but me
Hey,
personally, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to,
absolutely.
Philip, I'm going to let you get on with your travels, safe travels, continued
All right.
growth and health, and
Thank
happy
you.
holidays. And thank
Likewise.
you so much for being part of the show. And I'm reaching for the book one more time. And here we go.
Yes,
For the Love of
definitely.
Chocolate by Phillip
Such a
Ashley
good book.
Rix. Yes, it
Thank you
is.
so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you to your guests as well. I appreciate it, your audience. Cheers.
Terrific, terrific. All right. He was literally on the road. And thank God technology held out. So I'm very excited. Next week's guest is going to be Chanya Punyankumpo of Tan Thai Foods. Say that 5 times real fast. She's a former lawyer turned culinary entrepreneur, having spent a decade living in the US. Her yearning to find brilliant flavors of Thailand, she and her partner have created Tan Thai, a brand dedicated to sharing Thailand's vibrant street food and comforting home cooking traditions. If you need to reach me, you can find me on my Instagram at Dara Cooks. And on Facebook, I do have a page called the Food Enthusiast. jmoreliving.com. Go there if you want to get the bi-weekly newsletter about food in Baltimore, restaurants, recipes, the shows. So just go to jmoreliving.com, and under the food menu, you can click under the Food Enthusiast videos and a link to sign up for the bi-monthly newsletter. All shows are immediately archived in video form on jmoreliving's Facebook page and jmoreliving.com. We truly appreciate it when you share our show with friends and family. Feel free to go back to our archives and enjoy past shows. May your plates always, always remain full. Looking forward to seeing you next Thursday.